North Carolina is going on the road to take on Clemson. Clemson has been playing their best football over the last couple of weeks. They're on a 2-game win streak. They upset Notre Dame. They beat Georgia Tech pretty handily at home. And Clemson plays their best football when they're playing in front of their home crowd. Okay? Yeah, they lost to FSU, but that was a very tightly contested game. And if it wasn't for that missed field goal that they had late, they probably win that game. Going against North Carolina, you got to watch out for two things. The run game and Drake Maye. They don't play defense. Their defense, we thought, started to turn the corner under defensive coordinator, Gene Chizik. But after their first 4 games of this season, this defense has completely went off the rails. Like, they've given up 30 plus or more in their last couple of games, outside of one, which was like a no-name team that they played. Clemson's offense, though, Cade Klubnik has not been good this year. I don't give a damn what the stats show. This dude has barely managed to complete over 50% of his passes in the majority of games that Clemson has played in. He struggled against Notre Dame, and you won that game. He struggled against NC State. His best game, he played last week against Georgia Tech. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, and completed 67% of his passes. UNC doesn't have a great defense. There's no reason why Cade Klubnik should struggle in this game. But against any team that's been formidable, he hasn't played great football. And when you're going up against Drake Maye, you got to be able to be on your A game. Now, we know that UNC had some really ugly losses, especially losing to Virginia. Don't know what the hell happened in that game. And Drake Maye does have a tendency to get a little bit careless with the football. He can get loosey-goosey at times, try to do a little bit too much. But one thing about Drake Maye is that you're not going to have too many performances where he just absolutely just implodes on himself. This is somebody who is going to give you consistent, high-level quarterback play every single game that he plays in. And Clemson's defense is not as good as what it used to be in previous years, but it's still a pretty solid group. But they're going to have their hands full trying to find out a way to slow down this North Carolina offense. And really, when you think about North Carolina, really, they're just offense or nothing. For them to win games, they have to outscore you. Clemson, you trust their defense to be able to get a couple of stops, but can you trust Cade Klubnik? You're going to have to rely on Will Shipley a lot in this game. All right, Will Shipley has to be the focal point for why you win this game. If you're North Carolina and I'm Mac Brown and I'm Gene Chizik, I'm loading the box and I'm doing everything that I can to keep Will Shipley and their other running backs from taking over this game because they're really deep at running back this year. They got another good running back behind Will Shipley. I can't pronounce his name right, so I'm not going to embarrass myself like that. If North Carolina forces Cade Klubnik to have to win this game, yeah, of course their defense is going to give up a couple of points and a couple of touchdowns because their defense just isn't good. I don't know what it is. Like, we talk about USC not being able to get it right on defense, but nobody talks about how North Carolina can never get it right on defense. But that's a discussion for another day. But if Cade Klubnik is forced to be in a position where he has to carry Clemson on his arm to win the game, they're in trouble. Yeah, he'll throw a couple of touchdowns, but he's also going to get a pigskin up a couple of times. And Drake Maye, you can't give him extra possessions. One thing that Clemson does have going for them that I really like a lot is the fact that they're one of the best teams in college football at forcing turnovers. And Drake Maye, he's going to give you a good amount of opportunities to come away with some takeaways because he's a really aggressive quarterback. He tends to throw caution to the wind a lot. He reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, but a lot smaller in size. And when you're playing against a quarterback that kind of takes a lot of risky throws or makes a lot of risky plays, you're going to have the opportunity to come away with turnovers. And I think that's going to be really big in a game like this where you may not get a lot of stops. I'm going with Clemson to win just because they're a more complete team. They've played their best football at home. They struggled on the road, but when they're playing at home, this is a completely different football team from what we've seen out of this team when they've had some questionable performances on the road. North Carolina, they're not a complete team. The only way they can win this game is by outscoring Clemson, and I trust Clemson's defense to get a couple of stops, regardless of how good of a quarterback Drake Maye is. Cade Klubnik, he may give North Carolina a couple of extra possessions because he just isn't that good, but I trust Clemson's defense to be able to find a way to slow down this UNC offense. And UNC's defense, I don't really think they're going to have an answer for anything that Clemson really throws at them offensively outside of Cade Klubnik turning the football over. Like, if Cade Klubnik plays this game the same way he did against Georgia Tech, Clemson should win this game by at least 2 scores. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Drake Maye is too good of a quarterback to allow that to happen, but I like Clemson to win at least by 10. Give me Clemson 34-20 is going to be my final score prediction for this matchup.